So you've tuned into this video, mad love and respect, and we've got this dude right in front of us. Why is Trump here right now? Well, this guy is going to make an announcement about the semiconductors and the chips in the next week or so. What's he going to be saying? I mean, is there anything like positive he's going to say? Well, what is it? Because he's already in the mood for tariffs anyway. Look at this. Yesterday, he put out the idea that pharma companies are going to receive up to 250% on tariffs. That ain't going to be looking too good. I mean, we've got some interesting earnings coming out. Today, we got Novo, McDonald's, Disney, but the ones that I'm paying attention to is Eli Lilly. They're coming out with their earnings tomorrow, and it'll be very interesting to see how this company is going to address the idea that Trump wants to pull out tariffs on the pharmaceutical companies. And if I'm quite frank with you, ladies and gentlemen, in front of you is a list of these big pharmaceutical companies, and just 101 of these, total market cap towards nearly $3.3 trillion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He's going to now put tariffs on these guys. Well, Eli Lilly is going to experience the pain of it first. Looking at their share price, you can see that they're currently actually holding out inside of this range. It's a nice accumulation, but equally, if you look at the way price is behaving in regards to its volume, you can see that we've got a lot of distribution coming into play on Eli Lilly. Now, we can see that tomorrow they do have their earnings per share announcement, and if they do give any the slightest idea that tariffs is going to be a problem for them, or they are concerned about things, that is naturally going to lead to this share price to start coming down. But why am I talking about it? Because this is an opportunity for any of you day traders to potentially start shorting stocks if the tariffs on these pharmaceutical companies do come into play and they are high. This is what's going to lead to a potential breakdown in some of the pharmaceutical companies, which means that we might actually start seeing a transition from investors going from pharmaceutical stocks to start going over into the tech market. I mean, to put things into perspective in the tech market itself, you can see over here in terms of the NASDAQ, we did have some interesting volume yesterday in the sense that we didn't see, I mean, this is for the week itself, but you look at yesterday's price action, volume was below average. That is good news. And price has managed to stay within the previous day's range. So that is strength in my honest opinion. But today, we don't really have anything to be too worried about, other than the fact that, in terms of news announcements, but other than the fact that we've got the Swiss president coming to the table in Washington to try and make a deal to lower that 39% tariff. I mean, if you are going to be trading Forex, paying close attention to USD Swiss will be relevant when he does have that conversation. And if anything does actually get discussed and they do reduce the actual tariff, that is equally going to bring USD Swiss down, because it means that if the tariff of 39% isn't going to be holding and it's coming in lower, that means the Swiss will be transacting less on the US dollar. So that equally means that pairs against the US dollar will naturally go up on the success of maybe a reduction in the tariff for the Swiss. Now, a question on everyone's minds is, are we going into altcoin season? Well, let's just break it down on what's going on. SharpLink's massive buy has got everyone's attention. They picked up 83,000 Ethereum, but price is still below the 3,700 region. Now, look, when you read things like this, such as $465 million outflow on the Ethereum ETFs, gets people concerned like, oh no, they're selling. But look, the inflow was 5.3 billion, so this is nothing. This is really just people taking some profits and preparing for the next move. But then when you actually go into Ethereum's price action, you can see bright as day, it's doing fantastic in terms of price making a rise and a retrace. And the idea is that we're looking for them to try and initiate a continuation to the upside. But this is something really important to pay attention to with altcoins across the board. In front of you is the percentage of cryptocurrencies above the 50-day moving average. Now you can see that we are at a 47.5 reading, which means that 47.5% of the cryptocurrency assets are above the 50-day moving average. That means that this would be consistent with dip buying opportunities. They're talking about it in the stock market over here. So if I just go over to this story here, it says here that those who are already allocated to equities in line with their strategic benchmark should consider implementing short-term hedges, and those under-allocated should prepare to add exposure on potential market dips. And looking at global stocks rally without significant correction, you can see this drawdown chart right here. There was quite a lot of people in a drawdown, but this pullback right here shows that there is support from investors coming in and buying up the dips. So then going back into this story here, if the stock market goes up, fundamentally cryptocurrency is going to go up. Why? Because with the inflows of the actual ETF itself, we just go over to it, you can see that we are still at the 738,488 for the Bitcoin ETF. So that is a good sign. Institutional investors are plowing into this bad boy. Quickly going over into the Arkham to update it, even though it's not correct. You can see that there is activity on the chain itself. We've got, again, Grayscale doing its thing over the last 9 hours. It's being very, very busy. But to put it into perspective, if you see a lot of altcoins right now trading above their 50-day moving average on the daily time frame, it could suggest that we're getting ready for a potential breakout to the upside for altcoins across the board. H-bar, look at that. It's consolidating really well, holding inside of this green vector candle block region right here, which is a strategy within the hybrid system. And if you want to learn more about that, get over to the Traders Reality website, because that is filled with information about the hybrid system and how you can use this strategy right here in your everyday trading. I do believe that altcoins that are showing this structure here, especially with this big green vector candle and consolidating sideways, you can see that there is a point of interest in here where the bids are being triggered. To back that logic up, you can see that Bitcoin yesterday made a move to the downside. You've got these big orders coming in. They're buying when price drops, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm saying. Always focus on the drops. Don't focus on people, oh, when it's dropping, what's going on? Why is Bitcoin dropping? And we've had all this great news. They are buying up the Bitcoin. 34 million at 114,058. Go even further down. You've got 113,932, $39 million right there. Going into the low that was achieved yesterday, 6.3 million at 12,800. Going up a little bit more, you got 12 million at 113,000. So what's going on now is they're actively selling that. You can see there was a sell order right here. That was picked up for 3 million. And then we got this big fat order up here of 35 million to be sold at 115,288. So the idea is that even though it looks like it's doom and gloom as to why SharpLink purchasing 83,000 Ethereum and Ethereum is not really following through with the move to the upside, you've got to understand they will buy it first and then they will offer to the upside. That's the way this game works. As I mentioned earlier on, this is the Traders Reality website here. And if you do actually go onto the website, there is a video here and a PDF. I strongly recommend that you download this PDF as it is free of charge to do so. And it helps you understand the hybrid system that we use on the Traders Reality channel. More importantly, if you scroll down further, you do get to join the Discord. And of course, you can download the hybrid system indicators free of charge. Just watch this video and it's going to show you how to get those installed so that you can have exactly what I'm using on my charts every single day that aids me in being able to take positions and exploit movements in the marketplace. So to finalize it all, in front of you is Bitcoin's price action on the daily time frame, and a lot of players on the daily time frame are asking the question, is now a good time to buy Bitcoin? Just draw your attention to these wicks. These wicks are consistent with them sweeping for the bids and coming back up. Sweep for the bids, come back up. Then there is a little bit of bidding right here where price goes down and it means they're buying. Equally, the guys that sold over here are now transacting on the guys that were buying here, and their liquidations are getting smacked left, right, and center. You can see that we have got this sandwich of liquidations. You've got high margins over here and you've got high margins down here. Now, what way is the market going to gravitate towards? Well, based on the logic of price action, the idea is that there could be a short squeeze coming into play if Bitcoin can sustain the 50-day moving average. And if you are a holder looking to accumulate in this range, what you've got to say to yourself is, if I buy Bitcoin now, at what point do I decide to take a profit on that? So hypothetically, if you were to buy from this point over here and Bitcoin then goes back up above the all-time high, would that not be a nice move for you to take advantage of a 10 grand move in Bitcoin, take some profits, go into USDT, wait for the retrace to then effectively try and take advantage of them coming back into this consolidation range and then look for the next retrace expansion to the upside? This, in my opinion, is the true DCA range, when they've made a move up and then they start to come back down. And if the proof of the move up is going to come back into play again, then they will make that reversal from that point and then continue higher. So you can buy from here, sell here, buy from here, sell here. Okay, but I understand dollar cost averaging players, they're not about selling the asset per se, but maybe there are participants that do play the spot market. Again, what are you in it for? You in it for the tech, or you want to make some money on cryptocurrency? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect, and I'll be tuning into you again tomorrow. Peace.